Hey everybody, it's Gomledax, and welcome back to the Lost Caverns of Ixalan Early Access event. In today's video, I'll be playing another premiere draft of the brand new format, so thanks again to Wizards of the Coast for the promotional Early Access account. But without further ado, let's hop into the draft. Alright, here we are for another draft of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. For our Pack 1 Pick 1, we have Join the Dead for a very efficient removal spell, -5/-5 at instant speed, or if you have 4 or more permanents in your graveyard, you get that Descend ability of -10, kill basically literally anything. There's a Belligerent Yearling in here as well, which is a very tempting uncommon. 2 mana for a 3/2 trampling dinosaur, already pretty solid for that mana cost, but also when you play any other dinosaurs, you can have its base power become equal to that creature's power till end of turn. So if you play a 6-power dinosaur on turn 6, this is now a 6/2 trampler attacking that turn, so that's a pretty fun path to take. And I did draft black the last time I played, so try to head in a new direction, maybe go for the red-green dinosaurs deck. Sounds like a pretty cool place to be. I'm going to grab the Belligerent Yearling, see if we can get some dinos going. For Pack 1 Pick 2, someone did not take Trumpeting Carnosaur, which I think is easily in at least the top 5 cards in the entire set. This thing is insane. It's a 6 mana, 7/6 trample that lets you discover 5 when it enters the battlefield. That means you're going to flip cards from the top of your deck until you find one that costs 5 or less, and you're going to cast that spell for free alongside your Carnosaur. So it is already automatically always a 2-for-1 when you cast it, and if for some reason your opponent is really aggressive and you're struggling to get to 6 mana, it has a backup plan of being a perfectly fine, perfectly efficient, instant speed removal spell for 2 and a red to deal 3 to a creature planeswalker. This card's insane, and I'm incredibly happy to take it alongside our Belligerent Yearling. For pick 3 now, this is going to be a nice, on-rails, easy draft here because we find Itzkeenth, Firstborn of Gishath, a red and a green for a 2/3 dinosaur with haste, and when it enters the battlefield, you can spend 2 mana to have one of your dinosaurs deal damage equal to its power to another target creature. So love these kind of creatures that are a creature and a removal spell all on one card, and this is going to fit perfectly into our red-green dinos deck we're working on here. For Pack 1 Pick 4, now we have some more interesting options. We have the Pathfinding Axetraw for a very solid value play in green, a 4 mana 4/3 that explores when it enters the battlefield. That means we'll look at the top card of our library, we'll reveal it. If it's a land, we'll put it into our hand, and otherwise we get to put a +1/+1 counter on the creature and choose to put the card back on top or into our graveyard. So great value play for setting up your draws, and it works well with all the graveyard mechanics in the format, like Descend where you want to fill your graveyard, and Craft that lets you exile cards from your graveyard to transform some of the double-faced cards in the set. So I like the Axetraw a lot, I think I'll take that. But there's also 2 solid removal spells, Watley's Final Strike and Rumbling Rockslide. I don't think either of these are incredibly premium removal when compared to some of the uncommon removal in the format and the best common removal spell in red or green, which is Abrade. I'm going to take the Axetraw over those removal spells, hope to find slightly better removal, or if we don't find enough removal, we can take some removal like that later on. Here for pick 5, we are now in a pack with no dinosaurs in it. There is a Sunfire Torch for some mediocre removal. Sorcery speed removal, you have to attack with a creature to use it, but it is 2 mana for 2 damage to any target, so not terrible. That does fit in perfectly fine. I think the Mineshaft Spider is a pretty solid, pretty reasonable play for some of the Descend decks that want to fill that graveyard with stuff. There's also River Herald Scout, which is one of Blue's better commons, just of course any creature that enters the battlefield and explores being a great value play. Also a Vanguard of the Rose, great for these sacrifice kind of decks. And Clay-Fired Bricks does show off that craft mechanic where for 7 mana you exile an artifact from the grave, flip this thing into the kiln, so it's our first craft card. But I'm sticking on to the green-red dinos deck for dear life here. I want to play green-red dinos at least once in this early access event, and this would be an incredible draft pod to do it in, seeing as we got past a Trumpeting Carnosaur. We should definitely get plenty of red dinos. And now we get past another Pathfinding Axetraw. I will happily take it here. Love the value enter the battlefield effect on this thing. Like that a little bit better than the menace enter the battlefield effect on the Dynatomaton. So another Pathfinding Axetraw it is. Some other cool cards here to keep your eye out in your own drafts are the Stinging Cave Crawler, great in your self-milled Descend decks, because if you can get this attacking in a couple times in a row, you are just going to be so far ahead in card advantage, just excellent. And even if they have a blocker big enough for it, you're going to trade into it with the Death Touch and draw your card when you send in, so I do like the Cave Crawler a lot too, but we're going to be scooping up the Axe Draw for this deck for sure. For pick 7, we could take a Diamond Pickaxe now. I've seen this card be pretty solid when LSV slammed it against me, but that was in a blue-red deck that could really make use of having a bunch of artifacts on the board. Green-red, it's probably less good, but it still gives you treasure tokens to help ramp into your big dinos, so it could still be interesting here. Probably more interesting than like a Curator of Sun's Creation with just one probable Discover card. The Discover cards, there's not that many in the format, so I don't think that the Curator of Sun's Creation is a particularly consistent build around. Seeker of Sunlight's been pretty okay too, but I'm going to go for the Pickaxe here. Obviously there is a big Monstrosaur dinosaur, but we can't slam too many like 6-drops into the deck, so I'm just going to take premium ones really highly, and other than that, not take too many too often. Now we have a Kaslim's Stone Tree, which can ramp up into some big dinos by pulling a land out of the top 6 cards of our deck, putting it into play, and if we manage to draft some caves, we can exile a cave from the board or from our grave to flip this thing into a 5/5 later in the game, so get a nice 2-for-1 spell off of it too. Caves, of course, being the non-basic land type of the format, as you can see on Hidden Courtyard. There's one of these that discovers when you sacrifice it in every color, and a lot of colorless and multicolored caves you could find, such as a Captivating Cave right here. I think with the Stone Tree, that's a pretty interesting ramp spell. I think that's exciting enough to get me to maybe draft a couple caves, try to get that going. I think I'm going to take the Captivating Cave over the Volatile Wanderglyph, which is a perfectly reasonable card, but it doesn't like hit any deck synergies that we have going right now, so take a Captivating Cave towards our Stone Tree. Pick 10, that is a late great mistake over here. We had this in our last deck, our blue-black Descend build, and it was pretty excellent. It's just a very big, scary card for the mana cost, even if you can't reanimate it. And it's not too hard in a dedicated Descend deck to actually get to 8 permanents in grave later, so that's pretty cool. There's just nothing for us here for green-red dinos, sadly, so I'll just take the best card. I'll take the great mistake. Pick 11 now. We've got a Goblin Tomb Raider on color, and that's it. So let's just draft that, send a little bit of a message. Well, no, I'll actually take the Cave here. Just in case we find some of the major, like, cave payoffs. I think Twist and Turns is pretty reasonable if you have a lot of Explore cards. Add Scrying to all of your exploring. When you play it, you explore. And late in the game, once you have 7 or more lands, this turns into a card draw engine. You get to keep using this to dig more creatures out of your deck with the Mycoid Maze. That's pretty cool. Could be interesting. As can the Capybara, just a 1/3 to block in the early game. That turns into a 4/3 in the late game. Alright, pack 2, pick number 1. A couple major options here. I'll probably just go with the rare because it's cool. The Magmatic Galleon, 5 mana for a 5/5 vehicle, cruise for 2 power. When it enters the battlefield, deals 5 to a creature an opponent controls, and when one or more creatures your opponent controls are dealt excess non-combat damage, you create a treasure token. So it's a 5 mana sorcery that deals 5 to an opposing creature and gives you a treasure, basically, but it also leaves behind this vehicle, so it's a pretty good value play generally, and I think it's going to be worth it even in like a dinosaur deck here. The card it's mainly competing with is the Poison Dart Frog. This is a very solid way to ramp up and fix our mana in our deck that might have a lot of high mana value plays, but I'll take the Galleon here. Pretty cool rare to try out. Pack 2, pick number 2. Well, now we can go ahead and get our little Poison Dart Frog to ramp up. This seems like a great 2-drop for our Dino deck, so take that here. Could also speculate on some other colors with just a powerful rare with Warden of the Inner Sky. Have to tap a lot of cards to start getting some counters onto this thing, but once it has 3, it's going to be really hard to beat. After it has 3 +1/+1 counters on it, it is a 4/5 Flying Vigilance at minimum, and you can keep making it bigger after that, so card is really scary, but stick to our Dino roots here. Take the Poison Dart Frog. Now we have Burning Sun Cavalry, which is your 2-drop for your Dino decks. 2 mana 2/2 when it attacks or blocks alongside a dinosaur, gets +1/+1. Definitely feels like we're getting cut a little bit here, but when we've got such a powerful card like the Carnosaur and the Yearling going for us, I think we have to stick to the colors at least. If we were trying to be as competitive as possible, seeing cards like the Spyglass Siren and stuff still here, maybe we would push towards the red-blue kind of pirates and treasures deck, the artifact-focused deck here, but just have these big bomb dinos alongside it. But I am very interested in trying to try out many different archetypes during the early access. I don't want to repeat something I've already drafted, even if it might not be the right thing to do in our draft pod for the early access. For pick 4, we could splash in a Deep Fathom Echo. Just need a single blue source, and this thing's great. 4 mana 4/4 at the beginning of combat on your turn, it explores, so it just keeps exploring every single turn for some value, and if you manage to play something bigger than a 4/4, it could just become a copy of that every time it explores, which is pretty gross. So I'm going to maybe splash in a Deep Fathom Echo here. All right, pick 5. All right, we see some solid dinos now. The 3 mana 3/3 dino that gains 3 pretty consistently, or another 4 mana 4/3 that explores. There's also a Jade Seedstones, which while it isn't a dino, it plays pretty well. You get 3 +1/+1 counters wherever you want for 4 mana, then you get a 7 mana 7/7 late in the game. By the time you have 7 mana, you're just going to have a creature engraved, so the craft cost is not restrictive at all. And yeah, you get a 7/7 that gains life, stabilizes you. I think these are all great options. We're pretty empty at 3 mana here, so I guess for that reason, that's a solid reason to pick up the 3-drop dino. Fill out the curve well. Pick number 6, there's another Jade Seedstones, but it's competing with an excellent dinosaur, a 4 mana 4/5 reach trample. I think I'm just going to take the great stat line over the Seedstones here. Pick 7, there's a Blade Master and a Walk with the Ancestors, both would be pretty filler. This is kind of like a draw 2, right? Because you pick up a permanent from your grave and then you discover a card. Discover is better than draw a card. It's always going to be a non-land card, and you can cast the card for free if you want. So a little more upside than like a draw 2, which is why it costs 5 mana, but I still think it's a little bit overcosted to be great. Ooh, something that's definitely not overcosted and is very great is Saheeli's Lattice. Really weird card, but definitely keep this in mind when you're in a dinosaur deck. It doesn't look like a dinosaur deck card up front, so it's easy to miss, but this is really designed for red-green dinos. It is your 2 mana sorcery speed draw spell. You play it, discard a card, draw 2, but what you want to do is discard your high mana value dinosaur that you can't afford to play yet, and then later on, you can spend 5 mana, exile that dinosaur from your grave, and just get the Mastercraft Raptor. Now you've got an artifact version of that dinosaur in terms of its power. You don't get its abilities or anything, but it's still a great card for red-green dinos, I think. Pick 9. We could use some more non-creature spells. Staggering Size seems like a perfectly solid combat trick. Take that over the Monstrosaur here. But I think 1 or 2 Monstrosaurs would not be bad in this deck. All right. Kind of wish I was Blue-Black Descend again, but at the same time, I do want to be trying out different archetypes. So I'll take that Cartographer's Companion, because it could fit in the deck. Now there's a Glow Cap Lantern, which is kind of slow, but decent with a lot of Explorer, or In the Presence of Ages to dig for some dinos. We've got some bombs to dig for. We can use this just trying to find the Trumpeting Carnosaur, I suppose. All right, I'm going to be topping off my curve with large dinos, not large cat warriors, so I'll take the Lantern here. Over the edge is main deckable artifacts, enchantments, removal, sort of. There are a lot of artifacts in the format. Maybe we'll try it out in the main deck. Definitely take the Hidden Nursery. And see what we get in our final pack. All right, pack 3, pick 1, we get another built around dinosaur signpost uncommon. Looking great. Take the Eatskeenth Firstborn of Gishath over the Poison Dart Frog. Actually, Scampering Surveyor is another card that looks pretty good for this deck. 4 mana for a 3/2 that ramps us up, grabs any basic land or cave from our deck, puts it on the battlefield tapped. That's kind of tempting. Card's pretty great, but I think I'd take the Eatskeenth again. Although it's slightly likely at wheels, I don't know. I imagine in every single draft pod there's at least 2 players playing red-green dinos in this format. Because, come on, it's dinos. I don't think we're going to get this thing back. Yeah, I'm just going to take it. It's more removal for the deck, which we're also a little lacking on. Speaking of lacking on removal, we now find Triumphant Chomp. Great removal for the dinosaur deck. You can use this as a 1-mana sorcery for 2 to target creature, already good. And if you have a big dinosaur, you can use it for damage to a creature equal to the greatest power among dinosaurs you control, which is awesome. Then you can do like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 damage with your 1-mana removal spell. Definitely Triumphant Chomp there. Now we have a Cavern Stomper, and I actually do want a little bit more to top off our curve with, and this is a perfectly reasonable one. Any of these big, like 6-mana spells that scries a little bit when it hits the board, it's pretty awesome, because by the time that you have 6 mana, scrying is getting really close to drawing cards if you hit any lands on the top, because you're just going to shove those lands on the bottom real quick. So I do like the Cavern Stomper here to top things off alongside our Carnosaur. Pick 4, we get another Saheeli's Lattice, which looks pretty great. Scoop that up. Burning Sun Cavalry or Staggering Size would be decent cards to get back. Pack 3, pick 5. There's another Kin Collar that I'll probably take to fill out the 3-mana slot. But the Tendril of Micro Tyrant's a pretty fun card. If you can make it to 7 mana, this will take over the game. You just start making all your lands 7/7s every turn. Cool, cool, cool card, but for us, I think it's going to be another 3-drop Kin Collar. Now we have a Seismic Monstrosaur for another 6-drop. Hoping we have enough removal now to not need another Sunfire Torch, maybe not even the first one. We have a Triumphant Chomp, we have 2 Eatskeiths, and we have a Carnosaur and a Galleon. Probably okay. I'll take a Monstrosaur here. Now we get a Watley's Final Strike, so we get a better removal spell to play in our deck than the little equipment thing. We can probably cut that thing now, the Sunfire Torch, to play the Final Strike. The one big flaw of these green removal spells is that if your opponent has their own instant speed removal, they can use it in response to kill your creature and counter your removal spell, which is devastating. But as long as you play it safely and they don't have that kind of stuff up, you'll have a solid time with it. Already thinking about cutting the first torch, so I'm not going to take a second. We'll slam a Seeker of Sunlight in here for now. Maybe try that out. Another Glow Cap Lantern here. Probably not running these, but we'll see. Pick 10, Plundering Pirate. I really like this card in the blue-red artifact decks, but Compass Gnome is also a solid way to get a blue source for the Deep Fathom Echo for splashing. I'll take the Compass Gnome here. I don't know if we're even going to end up splashing in the Deep Fathom Echo, because I think we have enough power in just 2 colors in the main deck. We don't really need to go splashing around to up our deck's power level, but now we have a Promising Vein to help do so if we want. And that gives us another cave for the Stone Tree as well. So maybe splash around with caves. And Compass Gnome's a little bit better when you have caves in the deck too to find, so do some cave nonsense. And now we could play an Ancestor's Aid for a random combat trick that maybe gives us a treasure towards our Deep Fathom Echo. Just play a single island with a Compass Gnome, a Promising Vein, and a Captivating Cave. Alright, I think it's an easy enough splash. We can play the Deep Fathom Echo here. Alright, so currently we have 51 cards in the deck. We need to cut 11 things, and I think I'm mainly just going to cut non-creature stuff. Just play a lot of beef, probably mostly the dirtly equipments like the Lantern. We have a decent amount of Explore, but not so much that I think Twist and Turns is going to be crazy in here. Probably drop the Torch. And Over the Edge. Definitely the Walk with the Ancestors as well. So let's drop all these. That still is 5 more cards to cut. Creature count is 18 here. And we also have 2 lattices that can turn into a creature later, crafting at 5 mana. That actually fits really well into the curve. I like that a lot. And the Stone Tree crafting into a creature at 6 mana. We do have 3 caves in the deck, so I think that's somewhat reasonable. 3 caves and 1 card that searches for a cave, the Compass Gnome, to help get to the Stone Tree flip. So we'll probably play that, try it out. I could still play the In the Presence of Ages just to try to dig for the Trumpeting Carnosaur here. But I think we have enough good threats to not need to be like digging for them there. Yeah, I'll drop that down. Then I think we drop mostly creatures at this point. So important to put the lattice kind of at like the 5-drop slot on the curve in terms of when we're playing it as a creature. Because if we're just playing it as a card draw spell, that's not a 2-mana way to affect the board. So that's not what we're looking at with our creature curve up here. And the Ixalan as well, we would rather have at 4 mana and up so that we can shoot something with them, use these as removal spells alongside a 3/3 or a 4/3 dinosaur or something. So these are kind of like fitting in at 5 mana as well. So kind of a high curve here. But I imagine that's how a lot of the dino decks are going to play. I mean, I do feel like I have a lot of high curve stuff, even if I drop the like Seismic Monstrosaur here. At least probably drop the companion as well. Right, this is like a 5-mana dino. We've of course got the Carnosaur and the Cavern Stomper still, and I think those are both better than the red land cycling dino. Still need to cut 2 more cards. Seeker of Sunlight doesn't really hit any synergies here, but it is a solid mana sink. Gives us a 1-drop. I think I still drop that out of the deck. And then probably want to cut maybe a Capybara here. Doesn't really hit any synergies. We're not milling ourselves that much to get to Descend 4 super easily. Slow mana curve for sure, but super solid deck. And I guess worst case scenario, I can curve this out as a 2-mana 2/3. I just need to block opposing 2-mana 2/2s and stuff. And again, this is a 2-mana draw spell. Yeah, let's get big and slow with this one. Let's cut the Capybara and the 1-drop. And make sure our mana's good. We do want the 1 island. Then we have 13 green cards, 11 red. So we have 7 green sources, 7 red sources. Probably about how we want it here. Yeah, looks good to me. We will call it a deck here. Alright, here's a final look at today's deck list. We are on a red-green Dinos deck with a tiny blue splash for a Deep Fathom Echo. So most of this deck is just a bunch of solid, powerful dinos on curve, 3-mana 3/3s that gain 3 life, 4-mana 4/3s that explore, 4-mana 4/5s, stuff like that. But some of the stuff that really incentivizes us to play a lot of dinosaurs are the cards like the Ixalan here that use the dinosaurs to get removal spells out of this card. We use our dinos to deal damage to opposing creatures equal to their power. We do the same with Triumphant Chomp. And we have some very fun Saheeli's Lattices that are really good card draw spells for red-green dino decks, because you can discard a dino to draw 2, and then still use that dino to get your Mastercraft Raptor from your graveyard. So very fun stuff going on there. We also have a pretty explosive deck in general with a Trumpeting Carnosaur, which is one of the best rares in the format in my opinion. Flexible with its ability to be used as instant speed removal, and super solid when you slam this thing onto the board and discover another spell alongside it. We also have a Magmatic Galleon. This is significantly weaker than the Carnosaur, but it's still going to be pretty solid value, a removal spell that also poops out a treasure and a vehicle at the same time. So really cool stuff going on with this deck. Super excited to see how it plays as we head into the gameplay. Alright, here we are for game 1 with a sweet curve. We go Yearling into Kincaller into a turn 4 Ixalan, and we get to also use it as removal. Oh my god, we have the Deep Fathom Echo if I hit any land all game. We gotta hope our opponent is not on the like 51 mana 1/1s deck that we got destroyed by with our blue-black build, but I think this looks like a really solid curve for us. Alright, here's the Yearling. Our opponent starts with the 1/1, and now they get a 2/1 that can discover 4 when it dies if they have 4 mana up. They're just going to petrify the Yearling, just shut that off immediately. Drop a Goblin Tomb Raider, which is a haster alongside that 2/1. It is some hyper aggro, some classic Ixalan nonsense. We are tremendously happy to have a 3/3 that gains us 3 life here to buy us a little bit of time. And it also blocks their 2 power creatures well if they don't have more removal, but double petrify it is. Hyper aggro here from opponent. Probably slam down Eats Keemth and just stabilize like nobody's business, because this is a 2-3, big enough to block the 2/2s without dying, and it'll also kill their conservator here before they can explore. I think that's what we want to do. Also turns the Tomb Raider into just a 1-2 instead of a 2-2. Yeah, this is... We're getting into a really good position to stabilize from here. And we can craft one of our dinosaurs that's on the board, too, with our Petrify. Alright, drop the Deep Fathom Echo and start going to Value Town, I think. Until we hit the Galleon mana, then we clear out the Flyer to stop taking damage. Cool. There's land for turn. Crack the Vein for a red source at this point, since we have 5 mana for the Galleon. Send in. Alright, well. This only triggers when it enters the battlefield. Yeah, so if this dies to a combat trick, that's fine. But if Deep Fathom Echo dies to a combat trick, that's not cool. Okay, yeah. That would have been bad if we blocked with Echo. I guess if I double blocked, they could have killed Echo and then we would have still killed the Tomb Raider. So that would have been okay-ish. Could drop Colossadactyl here. It's a reach blocker, so that is a big draw. Explore into Ancestor's Aid. Let's mill that. I don't think we really care about that. Yeah, I think 1/4/5 blocker is going to be enough for us. I think we can send in the attack here. Maybe they'll have a third Petrify, but we still just take 3, go to 7. Still very alive from there. Another Guidewing. No attacks now that we have Colossadactyl down. So time to stabilize, go to town. Discard a forest, draw 2, I think. And then obviously we can craft with one of our onboard dinosaurs later. We do find the red source to play Burning Sun Cavalry and hold up Staggering Size. Do that post-combat though. Another red source. Alright, Echo still attacks in as a 5/5 against 4 power, but I want to save Colossadactyl as a blocker, so I'm not taking any damage on the crackback. They'll still be dead in just a couple turns, basically, no matter what, especially with a Staggering Size, just in case. Alright, they are going to start going for chump blocks, getting their Explore triggers off of the Guidewings. They're going to have the other Guidewing Explore, finds the plains, and here's the cavalry. If we don't Staggering Size by the end of this turn, we will crack the Promising Vein, just so it's in our graveyard if we hit our craft card that wants to craft a cave. But I think we will grab the... well, I've got the third mountain. Just grab another green source, I guess. Ooh. Get the Flanker. They can play it as a 4/2 because one of their cards died, I guess. Alright, that's fine. Daring Discovery. Shut off all our blockers. Hit for 4, 5, 6, 7 this turn. 7 is not 0, but we'll see what they hit. Ooh, Clay-Fired Bricks to gain 2 life, so they're at 17 when we go for the crackback. That's a massive deal. And they can flip that to get 2 more creatures, give their whole board +1/+1 next turn. That's pretty terrifying. Okay. Oh, I forgot to do the Promising Vein thing. That was what they call loose. So... we can play Galleon and Chomp here to played as safe as possible. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 14 damage if I staggering size, 15 if I axe. 15 is not enough. This does not deal damage to players. This does not deal damage to players. We can't kill them. Yeah, we can't kill them. So we clear out like all their creatures pretty much here and get some treasure tokens. Let's kill the flyer first, I think. And we can see what they explore into this way, so we know what's coming up. They explore into a Tinker's Tote. Oh, Lord. Okay. I mean, they probably still just spend 7, flip the bricks, though. Right? Give everybody +1/+1. So there's going to be no haste. We know they're not going to have any haste next turn. So we only have to worry about these two as attackers. It'll be a 4/4 and a 5/3. I can just kill the 5/3 with the Triumphant Chomp. So they're going to have a 4/4 attacking us. So I need to make sure I can crew this for 2, but I can crew it with... Yeah, I can crew it with my Petrified Things. So I've got a 5/5 blocker up. And we know they're drawing Tinker's Tote, so we're fine. So I have a 5/5 blocker up guaranteed. I can just attack with everybody here and be cool. Alright, we're chill. We definitely are still winning this game. Oh no, I actually did have lethal? Oh, because the Explorer. Oh my god. Wait, I didn't account for the fact that Echo could have explored for +1/+1, so we could have maybe had lethal. Had I held one more treasure token up somehow for the staggering size there? Well, shoot. I mean, we still win, because they can't draw any more cards. They can just play 2 golems, attack with a 4/4, but I block with a 5/5, and then we kill them next turn. But yeah, I guess I missed lethal here. I don't remember everything I spent mana on last turn, but certainly there was probably something I didn't need to. Alright, pass turn. Time to get there with staggering size. Honestly, they're actually just already dead. I don't even need to use staggering size. We just have 1 too many attackers. 4 attackers, 3 blockers. Hit for lethal. GG. That will be 1-0 to start it off. Really terrifying start. They got that hyper aggro going, but we did stabilize pretty well, but then still almost died to just randomly shut off all 3 blockers, cast another spell. Pretty spicy little trick there to try to find lethal in the end from our opponent. Didn't quite get there though, so 1-0 heading into game 2. Alright, here we are for game 2. We're looking to find another green source or our blue source, but we've got the kin collar to buy us some time with the life gain, which is pretty nice, and obviously if we hit some lands, we have huge endgame here. We're on the draw to help draw more lands, and boom, immediately hit the green source, so our curve's going to be phenomenal from turn 3 onward. The issue is no 1-drop or 2-drop here. Ooh, there's a Hunter's Blowgun to really buff that Tomb Raider. This Tomb Raider has been kind of a premium card. Promising Vein was actually an incredible draw here, because I had nothing to do turn 2 anyways, so now I crack it for the blue source. Anyways, Tomb Raider has been consistently terrifying. Just so much damage so quickly, all the time. Okay. Here is our kin collar. Reveal Colossodactyl, because we might be playing it next turn, and gain 3. Definitely just buying time here because we can really win the long game. So I'll trade kin collar into their Tomb Raider or their combat trick or anything right now. Alright, there's a Pathfinding Axe Draw. Now we drop the Deep Fathom Echo and start going to Value Town, because even if I drop Colossodactyl, it just trades into Axe Draw, and if they equip it with Blowgun, neither of our creatures are big enough to block it anyway. Find a Galleon. Well, they know that's coming, but I'm keeping the heck out of that. We just go Mountain Galleon next turn. Even if they put a Blowgun on this, it's small enough to die to the Galleon. Dynatomaton is the play. Give the Axe Draw Menace. Well, it was already getting in. I was definitely not blocking. But they get another creature on the board, which is big. Drop the Galleon. Get a treasure. Clear out the Menace threat, I think. Find a Compass Gnome. That goes to the grave for sure. And I think with them down to 1 card, I just really want to play it safe. So I want to just crew the Galleon and trade my vehicle into the Axe Draw at this point. Because it'll still be 5 toughness with the equipment on it. Just really make sure that we're still alive for the long game, because again, we really win the long game. They're down to 1 card in hand, and it's a Child of the Volcano, which does get bigger, but our board state is now going to be far too large, because here's a 7/7 and a 6/6 they can't really get through. Oh, there's a Stone Tree with a cave in our grave. Oh my god, and I can just clear out this child so they have nothing to put the Blowgun onto. They can activate their land, but we really outrace it. So they are playing off the top here. And they're just mega dead next turn if they don't hit something. They don't hit something. They can activate Ridgeline to chump block, I guess. But that's all they've got. And there's the concession. We are 2-0 heading into game number 3. Here we are for game 3. Got a Yearling and a Pickaxe to throw onto it. We've got the Vein to get a blue source if we want to do that. I'll probably just use Treasure. Pickaxe is actually kind of awkward in this deck. Oh my god. Just naturally draw the blue source. It is pretty mana restrictive. 1 to play, 2 to equip. It adds up. Definitely adds up. I guess I don't have a turn 3 play, so it works out perfectly fine. This game, if we don't draw a 3-drop. It's the Red-Green Dinos mirror match. We are not going to go for any blocks here because we want to have the Yearling around to put the Pickaxe onto if I don't draw a 3-drop. Alright, take 3. We do hit another land. They've got 3 mana up. They could just have instant speed removal here, but it's not like I have an alternate line anyway. Pickaxe on the Yearling. Just to braid it. Annoying. But we have no other option. I'm just gonna play the blue source now. Deep Fathom Echo does give us the immediate explore the turn we play it, so I'm probably dropping it down over the Axe Draw. The benefit of playing the Axe Draw is I can go Axe Draw into Itzquinth. Or Itzquinth. Right, land cycle a Monster Soar. Make sure they hit their land for turn. Slam in for 3. We find a Stone Tree for ramp. I guess Axe Draw into Itzquinth is Pretty sick. Let's open ourselves up to that possibility. The 2-3 is always going to be big enough to trade into the 3-2 here. Ooh, Ward 2. God dang it. If this thing didn't have Ward, I would insta-kill this thing with this, but we're 1 mana away from paying for it because of the Ward. Now I might even just play the Echo at this point. Just block the Yearling. I could just not block the Yearling and then play Echo this turn and save this to kill the Roaming Throne the turn after. Not loving our position. Magmatic Galleon. That's another way to kill the throne if I had 2 more mana. I guess it works really well with its quint. So if I set this up first and then I use this, I get 2 treasure tokens out of it over time. They probably don't play a haste creature next turn. They're just going to slam in a 4/4. And yeah, I can just crew the Galleon and block. Yeah, this is our best, most defensive line here. Play this, get ready to crew the Galleon on a block. Pathfinding Axe Draw, which will explore twice thanks to the Roaming Throne. Land and a Glimpse the Core, which is basically another land. They probably mill that. They certainly do. Well, let's see the combat trick, I guess. If they have a combat trick, I can't afford to not block, because it would be, what, +3/+3? I go to like 3 life here anyway? Yeah. You got it. Kincaller is a great draw. I guess if I kill the Axe Draw instead of the Throne, I could play the Kincaller and the Firstborn of Gishath in the same turn. But then they still have this doubling up Explore triggers, potentially. Probably fine in the grand scheme of things. We've got enough cards to outvalue them. Probably. Yeah. Keep the 4/3 to block the 4/4. Actually, no, this is more damage to do it this way, and I can still double block the 4/4 and only lose 1 creature. This is definitely a better attack. There's a Cavern Stomper, alright. Hello, 7/7. Scry 4 because the Roaming Throne. Well, shoot. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Oh, it's immediately 2 to the top, so no extra value from the Roaming Throne. Haha. If I put a pickaxe on the Firstborn of Gishath, then my whole board is able to block anything here. And I play the Deep Fathom Echo at the same turn. Yep, I can't attack in no matter what I do, so... Put the pickaxe there so everything has high enough power. And then start going to explore Value Town. Keep our own Cavern Stomper. Let's see what they scryed into here. They put both on top, which cannot possibly be good for us. I guess if I play my Cavern Stomper, I can start making the Deep Fathom Echo a copy of it every time it attacks. So it's a 7/7 at base stats with all the +1/+1 counters. Kinda nasty. Atali's Favor, +1/+1 trample, and they discover into the Hammer Skull for a 6/6 with no downside in the dinosaur decks. And a Scytheclaw Raptor. Okay. Well, that's bad. Got enough blockers for everything here. Probably wait till we see what Deep Fathom Echo does, but we'll just play Cavern Stomper post-combat. And yeah, the board state is stable, so we just try to have Deep Fathom Echo take us into the lead over time. Now I can scry 2 and play a Captivating Cave, and the cave can get some +1/+1 counters onto the board as well. So I have nothing else to do with my mana. I could Colossadactyl plus Stone Tree instead here. It's a fine turn, but then I don't have excellent blocks set up. I think I just need excellent blocks at the ready. Scry into a Kincaller to draw into, and a Nursery. I don't hate either of these, but I guess I just ditch the Nursery and draw whatever it would have discovered into anyway. Oh, wait, no, I'm a doofus. I could have kept both, and then this would have just discovered the cave. But now it'll maybe discover the land that's underneath it or something. Could be valuable. Okay, 22 cards left. I guess I could mill myself with the Echo if this game goes on long enough. Probably not going to happen, though. Okay, hit a land. Play that land. Drop a Stone Tree for another land and a Colossadactyl here. If they're trying to cast an instant here, they're going to shoot themselves in the face, so I imagine they're not. Yeah. They're just going to concede. They just see the value engine rolling, and they are over it. Probably just top decked a couple lands in the row, and they just don't want to do it anymore. We are, what, 3-0 now? Excellent start to the draft as we head into the 4th round. Here we are now for game number 5. I like the Galleon plus the Firstborn of Gishath combo, but I don't like that I don't want to play this on turn 2. We're on the place. That definitely makes up for not playing anything turn 2, so at least there's that. Actually, all 3 of these spells work together really well. Oh, such a great draw. Burning Sun Cavalry, so I can still curve out starting on turn 2. And that's going to attack as a 3/3 on turn 3. There's a Dig Site Conservator. Exiles a bunch of nonsense from a grave. Just play the Kincaller. Reveal the Yearling. Probably play that next turn, hopefully. With a land too. But Yearling is going to be our play. Actually, Yearling's our play if we don't draw land. If we do, then we play the Firstborn and we shoot something, probably. Because it's probably not the best to just wait super long for Galleon. What, I can clear a path and get some solid attacks in instead. Playing against a green-black deck, there's a Cavernous Maw over there, so they expect to have a lot of caves. They need to have 3 or more caves on the board and in their grave for this to do anything other than tap for a colorless. So maybe our first cave deck that we're running against could be pretty cool to see. Jade Light Spelunker, excellent rare. Just a green and X, explore X times. For them, it's going to draw them a land and let them surveil this Echo of Dusk into the graveyard if they don't want it. But still a really solid play. 3 mana 2/2, draw a card, surveil one. I would run that card every time. Yeah, I really like the Jade Light Spelunker. Very cool card from our opponent. We hit a land because we are super lucky. And whichever one I shoot, everyone can attack in against the other creature. So let's shoot the Conservator before they can do the Discover ability or the Exile ability. This is just a 2-2 once it's on the board. All these attack into a 2-2 fine. Yeah. Let's kill that one. Attack with everybody. There's 8 damage unless they chump block, in which case it's still 5 damage. Boom, they're down to 9. We hit a land, we get to galleon it up. If we don't, we still have Watley's Final Strike. Really good position here. We've just kind of drawn into an incredible curve. Like, we needed to hit the lands to get to the firstborn, and we drew into the 2-drop to play on turn 2. So, super lucky game so far. Just gonna hold all their mana up. I guess I'll just hold the first strike up just in case. Cost 3 to hold it up. If I play and equip a pickaxe here, I'm guaranteeing that I can galleon next turn, but I really like having this in response to some nonsense, so I'm not gonna do that. We attack here and then we can final strike and play a pickaxe without equipping it. Final strike. Oh. Final strike to reverse their final strike is going to be gross. Now theirs doesn't even resolve. Boom, and we get an extra point of damage in, and here's our pickaxe. And that is what I have said before, the big flaw of green removal spells. They probably should have just jammed that out sorcery speed while we were tapped out so that they were 100% sure that that could resolve. That's what I would have done, because I live in fear of my green removal spells getting countered that way. It is such a blowout every time it happens. As you can see there, so we are 4-0 heading to game number 5. I guess their only hope, though... No, that was still a good play for them, because their only hope was that that would resolve, because it wasn't just killing one of our creatures, it was also giving their creature the power that it needed to actually still trade up, so they could removal spell one of our creatures and trade up into another attacker. So yeah, I mean, at that point, they were far enough behind, they had to just spin the lottery wheel there, hope we didn't have instant speed removal. But just in general, definitely a good thing to keep in mind with the green removal. This curve is actually awkward here. Probably awkward enough I have to just play this as a 2-3 haste at this point, which is pretty sad. But it's definitely not a hand we're going to mulligan. I mean, a 2-mana 2-3 haste is still a good card. Well, if they play a 2-mana 1-1 Death Touch to start things off, then probably not going to do that. And we had a great draw. Now I can discard the Cavern Stomper and flip this turn 5. So this is our turn 5 play. Actually, turn 4 with Stone Tree. Okay. The lettuce has solved our problems pretty well here. Okay, never mind. Pit of Offerings, just to exile the 1 dino. Cute. Now I will lattice later in the game, but we've still got plays throughout the curve. So here we go for a Stone Tree now. But we'll be playing Colossodactyl instead of a lattice dinosaur. Ooh, we actually hit a cave off this thing? Let's go. It's gonna come to play tapped anyway, so we might as well get the cave instead of the forest. Stinging Cave Crawler. They want to get 4 cards in their grave for that, but once they do, that's a problem. Draws extra cards for them over time. I can only deal 2 damage to something, so I can use this and kill the Death Toucher, but I really want to kill this before they have all the permanents they need for the Descend, so I'm going to just drop Colossodactyl right now, I think. But I feel like it's pretty likely here that they're going to self-mill 2 cards and get the draw card off of the Cave Crawler's attack this turn. We'll see. Well, straight to combat means maybe they aren't descending. Nope. Alright, cool with me. No card draw from the Cave Crawler. Oh, it's the great mistake. It's my homie. Love this card. Card is super cool, super threatening. So, I do have 6 mana, which is pretty impressive. It's not enough to final strike, but it's enough to play... Oh no, I don't have 2 red sources. Shoot. Oh crap, yeah, that's actually really bad. If I had double red, it would be perfect, because I play this, I shoot this, then I have the first strike trick up, but I can't have the first strike trick up anymore. I guess I can attack in and hope for a block here to use the first strike trick there. That's my only hope. Oh, let's go. All right. Thank the Lord for that block, because now the treasure token means I get to do both. Let's go. Wait, why would you do that? And this way I get to hold one up, I guess. All right, the board has been dealt with. Another cave crawler. Well, we're going to final strike that one so they don't just card draw all over the place here. Yeah, final strike plus kin color. They have a black and 1 up. They could have the 1 and a black instant speed removal, but that would be it. Let's hope they don't have that. That is an uncommon. Probably don't. I guess they could have the +3/+3 green combat trick, but that'd be really weird. Because they got the green mana off of our card. So they haven't naturally played a green source at all. Ah, do they have the uncommon 1 and a black, destroy a creature? Wow, alright. Well, that was not particularly likely, so feels rough to get got there. This is what it is, though. We'll drop the kin color now. I believe that was the only thing they could have had for a colorless and a black, seeing as, again, they're not actually playing green. Yeah, you hate to see that. We could still trade a 3/3 into this, but they will get a piece of card draw off of it. At this rate. Oh no. Oh no. We're gonna get mega bombed out of it. Where's our mega bomb? We haven't drawn our gigantic Discover dinosaur a single time today. So even if I kill this thing, it will always come back. It just takes 3 turns to do so every time. And if they have any instants, they get to double cast them because they have rebound. So they cast them once, then they go into exile and get recast their next upkeep. So that's really bad. That is horrific, actually. They are at 14, so there's a slight chance we try to outrace here. Can make a 5/5 right now. Can make a 2/4. Or I just lattice it up. Discarding a cavalry. Yeah, I don't think a cavalry really impacts this game here. Let's dig. Well, these are worse than cavalry. No cave in the grave, so I would exile a land on board, but I can exile the Captivating Cave instead of the Hidden Nursery, save that Discover. Discover's probably better than 2+1/+1 counters by a tiny bit. So, we're not like actively dying to this thing until they deal with our reach creature at least, but they are a blue-black deck, so I imagine they have a lot of interaction to try to clear out the reach creature. We just gotta cross our fingers and hope it doesn't show up yet. Buy us as much time as we can. Well, there it is. Every time they attack, they get Death Touch Lifelink. And that's gonna be unbeatable. We have to insta-trade, make it 3 turns till it comes back at least. Otherwise, they're hitting us for an 8 life point swing every turn. We take 4, they gain 4. Okay. Go for the race here. We send in the team. I just need to have a blocker big enough to trade into the cave crawler, which I can have a flipping a lattice guaranteed. I do not want to exile a bonus dino, I just want this big enough to trade into the Death Toucher. That draws them a card every turn. Yep, draw a card, trade up, gain a life. This thing's gonna draw them 3 cards once it has 3 counters on it, just slowly from the Shadow's Lair. But yeah, they're getting so much card advantage here, it is not good. Find a dead weight for the Kin Collar, which doesn't kill it, makes it small. We find a Magmatic Galleon. Well, so that's going to be how we kill the flyer again next time. For now, I could discover, or not discover, I could craft a 3/4 Raptor, sacking the Kin Collar and my card from grave, or I can just discover here. I think discover is better here. Okay, well, we've seen our Trumpeting Carnosaur for the first time today, and it's getting shuffled into the bottom of our deck in a clump of 6 lands, so we're probably not getting to play it, which is incredibly sad. We found our S-tier rare, and we shoved it on the bottom of our deck to RNGesus. I should have kept that in my hand. There's a 1 and a black 1/1 at common that makes you exile a card from hand. And if they have it here, it's going to be disgusting getting rid of the Galleon. I really should not have played that land. That was just instinctual. I was like, oh, second main phase, I've got a highlighted land here, let's drop it down. No, do not do that. Here's Confounding Riddle, so they are going to have descended enough to get their great mistake back on the board. Means now I have to kill that and the god. Compass Gnome. You may search for a basic land or a cave, put it on top. So I can choose not to do that. The dinosaurs are again just a 2/3 in the grave for the lattice. I guess I can see what caves are in my deck. I get to shuffle though. Hold up. I do want to put a cave on top so we can shuffle so that our big dino threat is closer. Our bomb rare. I guess I could take action and fail and I'd still shuffle, right? But it might be worth getting the blue source for the Deep Fathom Echo anyway in case I top deck it. No, I already have treasure tokens. Yeah, let's just decline. Awesome, it does shuffle. Let's go. Okay, that's a good thing for us. Should I be mana efficient here and flip the lattice right now for a 4/3 or a 2/3? I really don't feel like it. But it's possible that that's the best play. So now they slam down 2 threats, right? Because this thing comes back for free. Comes back for 3 mana, not free. But they have the mana to do both. They have exactly enough to do both. And then I can only kill 1. Oh wait, no, because, yeah, this is one of their lands. They don't have the mana to do both. Okay. I think I Galleon and try to outrace them here. So they don't get a big lifelink attack next turn. 6 power with lifelink would be devastating. This is out of counters. It's going to transform next turn, but it'll just be a blocker. Just one blocker against a lot of creatures. Here's the axe straw. We can't quite afford the counter unless I pay 4 if they have 2 of that uncommon. So fingers crossed they don't. And they do not. Axe straw hits the board. Mill 2, put 2 creatures from their grave to their hand. Alright, so that's going to get them a lot of blockers. Get some death touchers down? Yeah, that'll be a problem. That's going to be really hard to outrace, because now they play a couple death touchers and the big flying rebound dork. Well, at least they're milling some great removal. 2 copies of Join the Dead. Yeah, their deck is loaded with excellent instant speed removal, so the rebound rare is wild in there. They might be holding on to one here with the amount that we've seen. Yep, pick up double death toucher it is. Oh my god, I keep that. That's removal. That makes another treasure with the galleon. And it's a hasting attacker, which is also a big deal. Alright, they have a ton of mana, ton of excellent options. Let's see what they do here. I imagine they're going to get the big mythic. They're going to play one removal. Oh, it comes to play tapped? Oh my god, it comes to play tapped. Alright, thank god it takes time. It takes cyclical time. So there's Cave Crawler. But hold 3 mana up. So they're going to... Okay. They have the -10/-10, and they're going to double it up. Which means that whatever I use to deal damage to one of their creatures, they're going to kill with their instant speed removal. So if I have the mana to Lattice and Firstborn, I should do that, and I do. But in order for the Lattice to have enough power to actually kill the 1/3, I would need to exile another creature on my board. Shoot. Yeah, so literally my only option here is to use this and have this fight, and then they just kill it with removal. And then I don't kill the Cave Crawler. I feel like there's a way to win here. Dinosaur you control deals damage equals power to another target creature. I need to be able to deal 3 to the Cave Crawler. Oh, I see what it is. I see what it is. Oh my god. I think this works. I think we crew with this, then exile it to the Lattice, alongside the one in our grave. So this has enough power to kill the Cave Crawler. And then we fight with this one, because this one's summoning 6, so they can kill this with their instant speed removal, but then they just block 1/5/4 and die. Because they have... Well, actually, they just don't block at all. They're super dead. They might have been dead without doing this nonsense. Think of it. But this is definitely the best line. Because now instant speed removal is significantly worse for them. Alright, yeah, we win. On board. They block a 5/4. Take 9. Let's go. Might as well get one more damage in too, I guess. Big, bada, boom. There's the concession, and that is 5-0, I think. I mean, that was a really long game, so I've completely lost track of the rest of the event, to be honest. Either way, it's a really phenomenal record as we head into the next round. Here we are now for round 6 of just slamming down dinos, and I'm just going to keep doing it. Yearling into Stone Tree to ramp up is the play here. I guess if they play a good 3-power or less creature, we can use the Chomp to kill it thanks to Yearling, while playing a Compass Gnome on turn 3 instead. So that's an option. Also found a Saheeli's Lattice if we draw like a pretty expensive dinosaur. Discard that, draw 2, and play the Chomp if we draw into another red source. Okay, ooh, found a great 4-drop. We definitely want to make sure we hit a land next turn. I can do that by putting one out with Stone Tree or putting one on top with the Gnome. If I put one on top with the Gnome, I'm also getting more power on the board. And I don't need 5 mana, I need 4, so I don't think I need to Stone Tree ramp here. Although it would be more mana efficient. Go for mana efficiency, or do I go for more power on the board? I think I just go for more power on the board here. Because we're going to play a haster next turn and kill their blocker. So let's just get maximum damage. Get another red source since we have multiple red spells in hand. Cast 2 in 1 turn later. 3 mana up. There's Sentinel of the Nameless City, which I'm actually 1 mana away from killing unless I 2 for 1 myself here. I think it's probably fine to just 2 for 1 myself. We just attack in, really hope they block. If they don't, we have to set up to play the Firstborn of Gishath and the Chomp in the same turn later. Okay, yeah, I have to just attack with everybody, hope they block anything here. They don't block anything. So, do I Stone Tree ramp it up? We Stone Tree ramp it up to guarantee I have 5 mana to play the Firstborn and the Chomp at the same turn and kill the Sentinel next turn. Do not find a cave. We dump that Carnosaur on bottom, though. As you do. Every time. R.I.P. Carnosaur. I wonder if we'll cast it today. We've cast a lot of our other great spells. I think like the first 3 games in a row we played our Explore thing. Would have rather had a variety of that in the Carnosaur, but hey, undefeated, I'll take it. Twists and turns, so all their exploring gets to scry before they do it as well, which is pretty good with the incredible map production of the Sentinel of the Nameless City. Luckily, the Firstborn plus Chomp is a whole ton of damage. It's going to be 6 damage, so we can still kill this thing most likely. Unless they sack 2 map tokens here, make it 7 toughness, that would be devastating. But hopefully they have something else to do with their mana, just make it 6 toughness for now. Oh no, please Lord. Now I can do 4 damage with Firstborn and Chomp. Where the green though? Shoot. I should have gotten the second green off Gnome. Well, we send in the Gnome, ready for the 3 for 1, because this rare is busted if it sticks around. God dang it. Yeah, no shot at this point, I think. This thing's just going to completely take over the game. It's Galleon, but it's going to be way too big. Now that I have double Firstborn. Play one just cuz here. Get the mana out of the way. Probably. Start exploring on the Sentinel again. Find a non-land card, and it's infinitely too large to ever kill now. I mean, I can top deck another land, and I could Galleon plus Chomp in the same turn. That's our only out now, is another land. It is not a land. That is no kill on the Sentinel unless they block somewhere. And at this rate, they're never blocking with it. At least we can maybe trade into the Herald Guide. Something. They have a single blue mana up. They didn't want to crack a treasure for, so do they have the, like, turn something into a 4/3 trick? Maybe they do. And they turn a map into a 4/3, kill one of our creatures here. That'd be cute. Just take it all. Don't even trade the guide off. Okay, well, maybe we can try to lethal them at this point. Just galleon the River Herald Guide. The Sentinel's not going to be attacking for 10. They can play this and put 1 counter on it. That's 6. 2 counters from these if they're lucky. 7, 8. That's not lethal unless they have a combat trick as well. Probably is Galleon here. Galleon the Guide. Get the treasure for the future. Even without clearing out this snowball machine, this game's looking like it's going to end real close, even if I just die to a combat trick. Alright. Seems good. Oh, it's double Relic Roar? That's hilarious. That's a very funny way to end it. That game was a really large bummer. We were just consistently 1 damage off from killing that Sentinel, and without the Sentinel, I think everything falls apart for our opponent there. It's kind of just the MVP, the one card of the game that really mattered, and we just couldn't deal with it. Not enough damage. So, 5-1, our first loss, heading into round 7. Here we are on the play, and it's the first time we've drawn the Carnosaur. This hand's so slow, but I'm still going to keep it because Carnosaur's in there. And the saddest thing about that is that because the hand's so slow, we might have to just discard it to be a removal spell. I'll be real depressed. Oh no, it's the white nothing but 1 mana spells deck. That's what I expect every time I see Miner's Guidewing from our opponent. Yep, it is. It's the white-red hyper-aggro build. And we're going to have to just discard a Carnosaur. But, on the plus side, this hand's really good at stabilizing if we just use this aggressively as removal. Show me your combat trick. Actually, I think I'm just going to take the damage here and use this during their end step to kill their biggest creature so they don't have mana up for a potential combat trick to save a creature, and if they play something bigger than Guidewing, we can kill that instead. Okay, another Guidewing. Alright, I probably should have actually killed the Guidewing with that one on the stack so they couldn't put another counter on this one, but I'll just kill this one with the Firstborn anyway. Yeah, now that I think of it, this is better for me, because now I can kill this, whereas if they put the counter on this one, I couldn't kill that with 2 damage. So I think we kill it with 2 damage rather than playing the 4/5 here, so they have a smaller board when the War Scribe comes out. We'll get a 2/3 Aspirant, but I will block that because we've got these stabilization options right here. We've got a 4/5, 7/7. We've got card draw that also turns into a big dino. At least a 7/4 at worst for the Lattice. We've got nothing with more than 7 power in the deck, but we could have multiple dinos in the grave, and we could use multiple dinos on the craft ability to make this like a 14/4 if we have another 7 power dino in grave. That would be hilarious. I guess that is a possibility. Ooh, the Oltec Cloud Guard is incredible with the War Scribe. Speaking of things that are incredible, Mountain is so good for us here. Right on time. If we didn't have that, we were going to be getting a huge hit from our opponent. And things would be really bad this turn. Luckily, we find the Mountain right on time to clear out the Flyer at least and block with a 5/5 against the big War Scribe swing. So they actually don't even get a great swing with it here. Yeah, +2/+1 is just not enough. We still kill the aspirant and trade into the 1/1, which is... Actually, no, we don't trade into the 1/1. Because I have to tap the firstborn, but... Oh, wow, they just don't even attack. All right, let's go. Really nice way to just shut off that War Scribe from mattering, and now I think we slam down a 7/7 and just get fully stable. Scry 2, make sure we're hitting gas. This is not gas. Put those on the bottom. Now, thanks to our opponent's land, they will still be able to discover and have more action here. And they also have the removal for the 7/7, so that's sad. Just get the free crew. But our 7/7's gone. There's a gem guard. Okay, so that's going to be the win condition now, but their other stuff's too small. They're going to get this to be too big for us to block well. Okay, they are not going to tap their blockers here. They don't want us to outrace them. Lattice, discard Yearling, draw 2, guarantees we play Colossadactyl this turn, but if we discard the land and top deck another land, I can do it while still having a Yearling for later. It's tempting, but I think I'm just going to go for the guaranteed Colossadactyl just in case I hit 2 non-lands. Alright, this can only be used as a sorcery, so we can try to get a big enough dino to kill that thing in the future. I guess we can use the Lattice. The 10 power dino, that's definitely enough. Even if they just spend their whole turn tapping on Gem Guard twice in a row. So let's just get a 10 power dino for our enter the battlefield effect of the firstborn to just do 10 damage to a target. They have 1 turn to top deck removal to deal with the 10/4 dino. Otherwise, we will kill the Gem Guard. Yep, that's the play. 5 mana for this. I'll have 2 mana up. I can play the Compass Gnome as well. So I shall... Captivating Cave... No, let's just shuffle. (10/4). Maybe you should even exile the firstborn, but then they know what I'm doing next turn. They know I'm just playing around the legend rule there on that one. Alright, fingers crossed that they did not top deck removal, and they will not find removal off of their Discover 4 from the Hidden Courtyard. Alright, pure randomness, RNG time, spin the wheel. Oh my god, it's another S tier bomb rare. Whenever they attack with any non-gnome creature, they put a +1/+1 counter on this, and then create that many tapped attacking gnomes. So that's a horrific issue. I mean, I can shoot this and then have a 10/4 to kill this, I guess. I still think I need to kill this because they can just make it an 11/11 long enough in a long enough game. This is a big problem, but I can keep killing all the gnomes that are attacking and all their other attackers. Still an incredible, incredible card, but yeah. Just kill the Gem Guard. Guess I crew the Galleon with the firstborn since it's going to die this turn anyway, but I'm not going to attack with it, so I don't see a point. Maybe I will. If this is gone, they have to double block with a 4/3 and a 2/2. Yeah, actually, let's get the attack in. Maybe. No, I need to have excellent blockers up. Okay. Yeah, I really need to just make sure they can't declare any attacks with this thing on the board, so I'm actually not going to attack. And I think I hold on to this in case I hit another land. Should probably have stopped playing lands a little earlier because I have 2 copies of this Lattice in my deck. Whirlpool to exile the Colossadactyl, fair enough. So they're going to try to draw into a flyer, keep chipping in with the flyer and getting gnomes while they do so. Yep, no attacks here. Find a kin collar. 1 Dino Engrave. I don't hate discarding this to draw 2. And then this turns into a 5/4. Oh, find the Deep Fathom thing? That's hitting the board immediately. Let's start exploring. Boom, land. I can make it a Mastercraft Raptor every turn. Sure. Oh, it's a 0/4. Because nothing was used to craft it. Oh. Well, it's good to learn that on a turn where it doesn't matter. I have to sack the treasure to play this. Is that worth it? Probably. So this one's a 5/4 at worst. Opponent hits a land off the top. We discover if we draw dead. But we hit an axe draw, which is not a dead draw at all. Let's see if we hit off the echo to see if this is going to get any bigger. But yeah, now we just keep exploring to make sure that we win the long game, the value game here. We'll just play more spells in them now that we're exploring all over the place, and they are not. Yeah, let's just get this board wide quickly here to start closing this game out. Now we can definitely start attacking with 1 dork a turn. Okay. +3/+0 first strike trick or something here is probably the play. So if they have the +3/+0 first strike, they kill the galleon, but then the cavalry kills it because it's a 3/3 blocker, right? Yeah. There might be a card here I'm not thinking of that I lose this this combat to. But we'll see. Obviously the set is brand new, so. Oh, it's a braid. Snap. Okay. Well, then I still trade. So that's pretty awesome. That worked well for me. I wasn't playing around a braid, but it looked like I was. So that's nice. Let's discover. Now I have my own combat trick. It's the +2/+0. Oh, hey, 10 damage removal. Oop. That's a hit. Oh my god, that's a hit. Oops, I didn't want to actually do this. Whatever, it's a 4-3. There's the GG from opponent. They are over it. We are 6-1, heading into the final battle. This one is not win or lose. We've got 2 rounds in the chamber this time. And here we are for our first shot at the final boss today. This is going to be our first mulligan of the day, 4 green spells, which is the mono red hand. So definitely cannot keep this one. Unless I could peek at the top card and it's the forest. Then we can keep it and go to town, but not going to take that risk here. Let's get that mulligan. And now it's a great looking hand. Galleon has been an MVP. Probably ditch the cavalry. We go Dart Frog into Axe Draw into Galleon. Get some great value from that ramp. If they don't just kill the Dart Frog immediately, but who could do that? Who could do such a thing? Look how adorable it is. Alright, here's the frog. We'll move on from there. Another Boros deck, some more red-white from our opponent. This one not playing a million 1 and 2 mana cards though, so nice and slow. We've got time to set things up. Here comes our Axe Draw. Explores into a Kincaller. Don't hate that as a draw, I'll keep it. Not really going to play it next turn, but it's going to be a reasonable sized body against a red-white deck. Another 3-3. Dropping down a Compass Gnome. I don't think I'm playing my Galleon immediately. I could hold up Staggering Size and play the Kincaller. I think that's fine. They go for the double block, we go for the Staggering Size. There shouldn't be instant speed removal that works here. It would be a Braid, which is 3 damage to our 4 toughness card. Oof. Alright. Well, Staggering Size went incredibly. What a combat trick there. Just rolled over their creatures and trampled over for 5. Yeah, this seems like a good combat trick for your dino decks. And look at that, the gigantic... what is that, a capybara? I don't even know how to pronounce that word correctly, but what's new there? I don't know how to pronounce anything correctly. Well, this game's going really well for us so far. We'll see what they hit, though. They could have their own pretty spicy cards. Like, if they have their own Galleon here, it's a pretty big deal. They won't have any creatures on board to crew it and help block with, so... we'll still get some damage in, but they can kill the Axe Draw, get a treasure token, do some solid work with that kind of card. They're going to drop a Ceratops. Alright, well, Galleon's going to be gross. That's... well, no, I can chomp an Axe Draw instead, so I'm expanding my board state here. Alright. If I just top deck the perfect cards, we'll do that, I guess. 1 mana, 5 damage. Such efficiency in your dino decks. That Triumphant Chomp being disgusting there. We killed their 5-drop for 1 mana. And it was very important that we did so, because it let us spend the rest of our mana on our own 4-drop. Our own 4 mana 5/4. I love my little dinosaurs with headlights on them. Yeah, I mean, that's just enough. Just absolutely crazy curve. Thanks to that Poison Dart Frog, just slamming things down early and top decking really cheap, really efficient combat tricks and removal spells to keep the path clear and roll over with gigantic dinosaurs. Gross, gross stuff for the final battle, and we are 7-1 with this dinosaurs deck. This was probably the coolest deck we played so far. I think I had the most fun with the blue-red artifacts build, because I love me some artifacts, getting all the triggers off treasure tokens and map tokens and stuff. But this was, like, probably objectively the sweetest deck. I didn't get to cast Carnosaur once. I did use it as removal in one game, and it was important, so it was nice to be able to do that. But we did a lot of lattice work. We made a 10-4 off the lattice one time, which was pretty sweet. So really, really recommend keeping an eye on the Saheeli's Lattice. Really easy to miss this as a dinosaur card, but it absolutely is great for these dino decks. Our Firstborns were great removal spells for us, helping clear a path. Final Strike did about what we thought it would. It has the major flaw of green removal spells. In the games where our opponent was tapped out, it was great, but there was that one game where they weren't tapped out. We tried to do it against 1 and a black, and they had a 1 and a black removal spell to kill our card in response, so it was really rough in that position, and that is the risk you take with these green removal spells, so there's that to note with the final strike. But Galleon has been phenomenal every time we've played it. Triumphant Trump was insanely efficient, and the Deep Fathom Echo Splash was absolutely worth it, and it was pretty easy to do with a gnome, a promising vein, a captivating cave, an island, and even like a stone tree to dig. Technically we had a dart frog as well to get there, but I think we only played the dart frog in the final game of the draft. It actually never tapped for some Deep Fathom Echo mana, so really awesome stuff from the deck. Super, super fun time for this draft of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel, as well as you for watching the videos. If you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.